This is the NAACP's Roy Wilkins Mid-Manhattan Branch Monthly General Membership Meeting. Also, the Criminal Justice Legal Redress Committee is pleased to present an unprecedented forum of 6 major federal and local law enforcement agencies: the Drug Enforcement Administration, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the United States Marshals Service, the United States Secret Service, the New York City Police Department, and the New York City Sheriff's Office. We come to you from the Harlem State Office Building on April 21st, 2010.
I want to welcome new members, if you're not a member yet, and I want to welcome our special guests and their families and friends and colleagues in government. The purpose for this meeting here is, like we did last month, to bring the NAACP message out more into the community. Last month we had an exciting meeting regarding HIV and AIDS and the epidemic that has, the numbers are going up. Okay, the numbers are going up. We got some real startling statistics from Dr. Mannheimer to tell us what those numbers were. And just right here, physically here in Harlem, the epidemic is high as it was ever before among African American young men and women, teenagers and young adults, and men and women over the age of 50. So those numbers are climbing, even though we've made a lot of progress in the fight to remedy the disease and limit some of the elements of the disease. We're still rising in that department because people are not practicing safe sex. But I just want to welcome all of you here. We're going to have a little silent meditation how we start our meetings. Gather your thoughts, think of your loved ones, and think of some really important questions you want to ask some of these presenters. My president report is going to be brief. The purpose of this meeting is the Criminal Justice Legal Redress Committee, which meets once a month and have programs at the branch on different topics from housing to family services, Innocent Project, and other programs like that they do ongoing. And this is something that they wanted to do for a long time. The New York State Conference, the region office, to have these kind of meetings in division with law enforcement agencies by themselves. So the Legal Redress Committee thought that, look, let's sit down and pull everybody together. So it became an idea. We put a plan in place, and here we are here. And if you look at your programs, you see the exciting representation of people who are going to present to you. But the purpose is to bring information to the community. This is the first time in the history, probably, that these agencies have sat down together as one panel to talk to the community on our invitation. And you're going to hear a lot about what you have in store, what some of the programs that we can do as a branch and as a community. The other thing I wanted to mention to you is the NAACP annual convention is coming up. It's going to be in Kansas City, Missouri, July 10th through the 15th. We're looking for the exciting. It's going to be our 101st convention. You know, we're 101 years old, going into our 2nd century. So the information will be available after the meeting at the back of the table. And you can talk to some of our members, some of our officers here about the convention. If you really want to go to Kansas City, I urge you to do that. Conventions are really very exciting. That's where the resolutions are adopted. And a lot of the resolutions that are adopted from the Florida Convention become law in the state houses and in the House. And a lot of the policy that's driven by the Congress, by the Senate, is based on some of the resolutions that we present at our national convention. I'm going to introduce our first vice president, if he has any additional branch business to discuss. Johnson.
Jeff has already mentioned the national convention, which is coming up. We're very eager to invite as many new members and interested members to participate in that. It is thought-provoking, it is engaging. We engage with other members and other councils throughout the country. Just to give you background, we have an annual conference, and then we have an annual state conference, and then we have quarterly meetings, quarterly state conferences. So there's a lot of the business end to the NAACP that you do not see, as well as a lot of the work that takes place in the individual branches. So with your participation, we can help to formulate some of these resolutions that eventually often become laws, as Jeff has mentioned. Apart from that, I believe we have a fundraiser coming up next month, which is for Atlantic City. And I know a lot of you are excited as I am about going to Atlantic City.
It's May 1st.
May 1st, and there's information in the back of the room on a flyer. So I ask you all after this meeting, as you're milling about networking, to take that as well. And that is important for us because this is a not-for-profit organization, and the branches are responsible for raising their own funds to have programmatic activities such as this. And we've all been struck by the economic crisis, individually, business-wise, and organizationally. So we ask you, in fact, we urge you to participate so that we can put on these types of functions in the future.
We took a huge hit when Wall Street collapsed, when Madoff hit a lot of our donors. So money that we used to get in our fundraising efforts were depleted because of that what happened. So we're running on very thin budget, and it costs a lot of money to present programs like the one you're going to participate in this evening. So we urge you to look deeply in your hearts and in your minds, and if you want to donate $10 or $5 or whatever you want to do, make a donation to the branch. We definitely need the money because a lot of this money goes to our youth council for programs for our youth, and just to buy paper, to print these programs that you see tonight. These cost a lot of money, and we just are in need. So that's why we're having a fundraiser. I urge you to go to Atlantic City, help us make some money. And if you want to write a check, we'll take a donation. It doesn't always work. And I want to thank our general manager from the Office of General Services, Mr. William Walker, for allowing us to use his home this evening. And he's going to say a few words later on in the program. I'll get him to say some closing remarks. But I just wanted to thank him. Let's give him a hand for allowing us to be in contact. We're going to do this very quickly. We're going to ask for committee reports. And I'm going to ask Mike Oliva, Civic Engagement, to come up to the podium and give his report.
I'll talk a little bit about civic engagement. I don't know if you're aware, but there are a few races in Manhattan this year, a few state senate races, maybe some congressional races, and as time goes on, we can't support candidates, but we're going to try to invite some of them to come so you can hear what they have to say, and you can make decisions for yourself and maybe become active in your community, especially if one of these races is going on in your district. And I'm going to tell you something that I don't have to tell any of you here, but we had an amazing presidential race, but it doesn't stop there. It's also on the local level because everything begins at home. And that's why it's going to be important for us to educate ourselves on this stuff. And I hope we can do that in the future. Thank you.
Mr. Oliva. For Economic Development, we'll have Gary Johnson, our first Vice President again.
Good evening again. Briefly, as far as economic development is concerned, we've had some interest from individuals in the organization for starting a committee. We're still looking for more members so we can have regular meetings. Just to give you what's out there legislatively, there is legislation in the Congress that's going through right now on a jobs bill that has been supported by the NAACP. And the goal of this bill is to do what the first stimulus package really didn't do in terms of putting people back to work. And this is focused on putting people back to work. So we will be distributing information about that in the near future. I urge you to go to naacp.org to find the information particularly on this legislation. The intent is to create 1 million jobs over a period of time. And that includes preservation of existing jobs, particularly for our municipalities that are really affected by the budget cuts, not only here in New York, but around the country. So we appreciate and look forward to your input, and we look forward to you urging your elected officials to support this legislation as it moves through the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. For fundraising, Ms. Jean West, would you come forward, please?
My name is Jean Dixon West. And right now we have 3 things going on for the branch. And the first one Ms. Theobald told you about was our bus ride to Atlantic City on May the 1st. And if anyone can pay tonight, please see Ms. Theobald. we hope to have a wonderful time on the bus. The second one, we're having our annual raffle, and it's going to be held June the 16th at the branch, and that's our end of the year meeting for the break, until the fall. That'll be June 16th. And we're selling raffles. The first prize is $300, second $200, the third prize is $100. And you can purchase the raffles this evening, and we'll be selling them until June. Those of you who can't make the bus ride or the luncheon I'm going to tell you about, please buy a raffle. The third one is our annual Freedom Fund luncheon, which will be held September the 11th, 11:30 to 4:30 p.m. And cocktail hour will be 11:30 to 12:30, and open bar all day. And the music is by Warren Daniels Band. And we have transportation from the branch. The cost of that luncheon will be $100, and we have a bus leaving from the branch for $15 round trip. The luncheon is usually very well attended by a lot of politicians and very well-known honorees. So I hope you'll be able to take part in the luncheon this year. Like I said again, 9th Annual Freedom Fund Luncheon, Marina Del Rey, on September the 11th, 2010. I hope you can participate in some of these events. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. West. One of our honorees is going to be Dr. Roscoe C. Brown, and one of our New York finest, Chief Philip Banks from Manhattan Patrol Borough North. So for all you law enforcement folks out there, I know you're excited about that. I would like Wilma Brown, to co-chair the Health Committee, to come forward, give her report.
Good evening, everyone. I am the co-chair of the Health Committee, and at this time, we do not have anything to report other than the great health fair. I'm sorry. Other than the meeting that we had at the last meeting. We did not meet this one. Thank you.
We have a new committee, housing committee. We have a new chair, Ms. Tyrone Anthony. Tyrone?
This is the report regarding housing that we want to target. There's over 3,000 Section 8 vouchers that have been frozen in New York. And these vouchers, some of them, should have been expedited due to emergencies and some of our people in certain conditions. But they got frozen, so what we're going to try to target and work with other advocates is basically to undo some of these frozen Section 8 in housing. Second but not least, we want to also target some landlords who have seniors who live in their building, who's living in deplorable conditions, where they cannot get downstairs from the elevator, or they're having a lot of issues regarding housing. I'm experiencing dealing with a lot of the other coordinators and different committees in the public advocate's office also. So my report is also, I have been working with SRO, Riverside Project, and other advocates regarding housing. Okay. In our annual meeting, I would like volunteers to come forth. If you know anything about housing or you want to volunteer to make change in housing, I'm welcome aboard. Anybody who wants to come aboard. Thank you.
You know, predatory equity and predatory lending has devastated some of our major developments, including the Riverton houses and Stuyvesant, as you heard before. So this is a very important committee. If you'd like to join this committee, see Mr. Anthony right after the meeting, and he's going to schedule a meeting at the branch, which takes place at 270 West 96th Street, and he'll give you that information. Moving forward, I'd like Marion Bell to come forward, press and publicity.
Thank you very much for giving me your time and attention. I have a couple of things to give you information about, because press and publicity is just that. We need to tell you what's going on. To add to the list of honorees who will be at the luncheon, they include Denny Farrell, Jamal Joseph, Kendall Reed, Mary Red, and our former president, now our president emeritus, Billie Holiday Hayes. So please come out and pay your respects to them as well. Thank you to those of you who've already had the opportunity with another member of the Press and Publicity Committee to sign the petition regarding the Harlem African Burial Ground. This burial ground is documented in the annals of our record keeping in New York City. You can find it there on your own. However, if you go online and Google Harlem African Burial Ground, you will find information there. It is currently on 126th Street and 1st Avenue under the Manhattan Transportation Authority Bus Depot. A hearing has been held on this matter by two of our state senators, Bill Perkins and Jose Serrano. The results of that hearing I hope to be published and available for the public to be shared with you online, and also on Facebook there is information. Out of respect to Harlem Hospital having had us in their space last month, one of their employees, Randrita Ward Evans, is also the chair of the board of directors of the Riverside Theater Program, and I'm just going to inform you that they are hosting an event that will give voice to a community of 6 African American males ages 10 to 60 is who they're focusing on, and what they're doing is hosting one production. After the production, there are post-performance dialogues. The cost is only $21. You can call 212-870-6860. I can say that to you after, or you can catch it on imminent.
But their opening night on May 7th is...
Their opening night on May 7th is with Dr. William Bill Cosby for only $21 on May 7th. So you can get more information on that from them. Please also know that at the end of the evening, we're going to be passing out, our Press and Publicity Committee is looking how to get you more involved. We're really interested in that. So we've developed an interest survey. You will be able to read it at your leisure, but briefly, what it is asking you to do is to circle the things that you are interested in doing. And we've given some general categories such as children or health or media or social justice. You will circle those items and please return this to us so that we can make sure we reach out and contact you, put you in the realm of the area that you really are interested in. Yes, you can circle more than one thing. So thank you again for being here and for your time and attention. We hope you enjoy the rest of the meeting.
Thank you. Education, Ms. Harriet Forster.
Hey, good evening to each of you. The Education Committee, Deborah Harris is my co-chair, and we are working very hard. Our prime program is the Adopt a School program, and our school that we have adopted is Watley High School of Performing and Visual Arts. And many of them are here today. We are doing other things. Deborah and I are participating. You know, education is on the front burner now. And we are participating in other activities with other organizations because we want to preserve and make sure that our children get the best education that is possible for the dollars that we receive. We are planning a parent luncheon on the 29th of April at Watley High School. We're inviting the parents to come so that they can share with us their issues. And we can tell them how we can help and how we can be supportive of them. You know, they were talking about adding a school into their school, and this was objectionable by the staff and the principal. We're working closely with the principal and Mr. McIntosh. And so we want the community to be aware of what is going on in education in our community. And we all have to be active, and we all have to be concerned because these are our children, and we want the best for them.
Yes, good evening. I just wanted to add a little update on, again, what's going on in the world of education, and there's always a lot going on. But you are all aware, I think, that the NAACP joined a lawsuit to stop the Department of Education from closing schools. There were 19 schools on the chopping block, so to speak. And a judge who heard that case did decide against the Department of Education. It was really a milestone that we have won that first round. And so those schools are not going to be closed in September as was first considered. And the reason was that the Department of Ed did not follow state guidelines. There are guidelines about how to close schools, and they didn't follow the guidelines. So therefore, the judgment went against them. Now, of course, the city will appeal, but we'll keep the pressure on, and hopefully we'll prevail in the end. And there's another piece of news I want to give you, which is also not good news, but it's something that hopefully will get turned around. So President Obama has these race to the top funds for states to support school reform. And New York State did file an application. Well, unfortunately, New York State's application was denied, but I believe that the state will reapply, and hopefully in the next round, which there will be a second round, the state will get those funds, and those funds will eventually come down to the city and to the children. Our next education meeting, and we invite any of you who might be interested in educational issues to attend, will be before the next general meeting, which is May, the third Wednesday of the month of May. And we'll meet at 5 o'clock before that meeting at the 96th Street branch. One more thing, the National Association of University Women, the New York branch, at its annual Scholarship Awards luncheon on Saturday, May 22nd at the Alhambra. One of the honorees will be none other than Ms. Harriet Fortson, our education chair. So let's congratulate.
The ticket prices are $60, and that's the National Association of University of Women, NAACP, New York branch, annual Scholarship Awards luncheon. You get that information after the meeting. We have a veterans committee, and I know we have some veterans in the room. All the veterans in the room, please stand up and get an applause. Veterans, please stand up. We're going to ask Mr. Weiss to fill in for Mr. Cedius Davis and Ms. Knox, who could not be here this evening, and give a short report.
What has been happening with the Veterans Committee is that they have made an assessment of veterans issues in New York City and what activities that this branch can participate in. For instance, the committee is planning to have a sort of a talk-back session on Veterans Affairs, hopefully within next month. You will be getting that information. But basically, we want to hear from veterans as to what you think are the issues. As you know, that it has been talked about that the veterans will be coming home, but there's some issues about them coming home. Not so much coming home, but when they come home, what will be there for them? How will they get their benefits? How will they be debriefed? What will housing? How will be educational benefits? How will there be benefits in general? We are planning to reach out to the various state and government offices, such as the Office of Veterans Affairs on the state and local level. This report is being given by, I'm a committee member. Mrs. Cedius Davis is a veteran of 16 years, and she also wants me to express the fact that she wanted to have female veterans attend her meetings. Thank you.
Well, membership is a very important committee, and I'm going to give that report for Ms. Dr. Seals. If you're not a member, raise your hand. If you're not a member. So by the end of this meeting, you're going to be a member. This is a bargain. It's $30 a year, but you also could be a life member. We're celebrating our 100th anniversary of life membership. And that's, you can take that out at $75 a year for 10 years, and you do an installment fee. Most of the executive committee members are doing that because of our Constitution. And at the end of your payment, you get a nice plaque about this big, really nice. You want to get that plaque this year because it's the 100th anniversary. That's something very historic that you can send down to your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, something that you can pass down and have in your archives. But general adult membership is $30 a year. Youth is $10 a year, and if you want a crisis magazine, it's $15 a year. You can sponsor a youth. I know Dave Powell signed up his entire family, and so that's what we're trying to do. So that's my report on membership, and I will ask Rona Russell to give the youth report.
My name is Rona Russell, as just was stated. I am a co-chairperson with Samora Labra, who couldn't be here this evening due to work restrictions. We had a very busy month, even though the month has just started. Today is just April 21st. First, we had an out-of-state trip, and that was the conference for the Civil Rights Region, the second advocacy training, which was held in Rhode Island. Samora and Second Vice Yolanda Payne attended. We also participated in the Great Debate, which was held in Connecticut on April 3rd. We also had a local trip last Saturday down to one of the state parks at Castle Hill, which is located in Battery Park. That was in light of Immigration Week, excuse me. So we attended there, took like 23 youth. It was very, very exciting. Our youth got to participate. There is a youth work committee meeting that will be held this Saturday, April 24th, and in attendance will be advisor Samora Legra and First Vice Wesley Sinkler. The following dates are coming up for programmatic activities. They asked us to be on the national programmatic activity, and our youth, our treasurer, Sylvester Lofkin, will be in attendance with that, along with the co-chair, Samora Legra. There will also be a voting done on that Saturday. The events that the youth will be participating in upcoming are the Breast Cancer Walk, the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and what we are trying to do in conjunction with the Children's Aid Society is to create a mentorship program. These events that are proposed are coming up are the Central Park Summer Stage, City Parks events, and the organization of college trips. We are trying to do these to empower our youth to stay out of trouble and to decrease juvenile delinquency. As all of you are aware, the youth are 100% of our future, but only 30% of our present. We also, the youth will be having their annual election on May 1st. They are also having that as a membership/birthday. The president, that is her birthday. And what she decided to do was to encourage teenagers to understand what their social awareness should be. So she thought it not robbery to have the party as a membership party at the Mid-Manhattan branch. All youth are welcome. It is a $10 membership, but for that $10, that would be your membership to the NAACP. It's the best $10 that you can spend for 1 year. They also have increased membership, which that was one of their goals. They've increased it to more than 100 members. And we will also be attending the we're also having a fundraiser to attend the annual conference for the 101st year of the NAACP's existence. Thank you.
If that ends our committee reports, I will ask for old business, and I'll waive old business. We talked a little bit about that. And I'll ask Marion to give us a little new business.
Okay. If you have something to write with, this may be important to you, so I'm going to take it slowly. On today, I received an alert from the National Branch. You can also access this information on the web if you have access. There is a bill that is currently in proposal, and today is a day of action. The bill is called H.R. 157, the District of Columbia House Voting Rights Act. The companion to this House bill is numbered S-160. The issue surrounding this bill is regarding taxes. The people in the District of Columbia pay taxes, but they're not represented in Congress. They have no vote. They serve on juries, but they're not represented in Congress. 57% of the population of the District of Columbia is African American, 30% is Caucasian, 8.5% Hispanic, and there's $4 billion in taxes collected. They don't have representation in Congress. This is a problem for the NAACP, so we're asking the members to reach out to your congressional representative, which here, where you are, your representative is Congressman Charles Rangel. There are several other representatives. If you are traveling here this evening from some other district, you can also find out who your representative is. This is the number, 1-888-999-6775. And I thank our president for allowing me to mention this because, as I said, it is an action alert. And that's what we really are about as members, and sometimes it only takes a phone call. The crucial piece of this is that the bill has been halted because they are trying to reverse all of the laws that have put in place for protection against violence regarding firearms. There are some laws that are in place, and pushing this bill through, part of the deal that their people are trying to promote is that those laws will be reversed. Well, that could be a big problem for DC because in 2001, they had 169 firearm deaths. As a result of the people that were shot and who were uninsured, their general hospital has closed down. So clearly we really don't want that part of the law overturned, but we do want them to be represented with a full vote in Congress because they deserve it. They don't need to continue to have taxation without representation. So please make that call to your representatives. I hope you recorded that number. If you still need it, you can see me after the end of the meeting. Last, Billie Holiday Hayes, our former president, is also being honored by the Community Free Democrats. If anyone is interested in it, this Sunday, so it's coming up fast, their tickets are $100. But for those of you who love Billie and want to support her, please get in touch with me after the meeting for more details on that, okay? Thank you very much.
I want to ask Dave Powell to come forward. We had Commissioner Galen Kirkland here for the Human Rights Commission, and he had to leave, but he has a deputy. And I'm gonna ask Dave to come forward and say a quick few words. Come on, Dave, come quick.
On behalf of Commissioner Galen Kirkland, I want to thank Jeff for including us in this event. We are a law enforcement agency, however, we're on the civil side of law enforcement. So as the State Division of Human Rights, we have a very proud history of being the first civil rights agency in the country. Our law was enacted in 1945. My office is right here in the building. So if you know anyone who has been harmed in employment, housing, public accommodations, or credit, and they are in the borough of Manhattan, please have them come out to this office here. We're on the 4th floor, and we'll be more than happy to service their needs, and if we can file complaints on them, we'll do so and investigate them to the fullest extent, and if we can't help them, we will make sure we direct them to the appropriate place in which they can get the services that they need. So again, thank you very much for having me.
I'm going to adjourn the meeting in prayer, and I'm going to ask Reverend Royal to come up and greet us with a very special message to all of us this evening. Reverend Royal, come quickly, please.
Almighty and all wise and loving God, we've come to say thank you that you allowed us the privilege to have been graced by the Reverend Benjamin Hooks, by the Ruth Jacqueline Hughes, and then Mother Dorothy Height. We just want to say thank you. Thank you that they came in our lives. They pricked our conscience and the conscience of the world. They made us realize how wonderful it is to dwell in peace and in love. Thank you, Lord. Thank you for your goodness. And Father, Lord, we ask special blessings upon these people, the officers and the members of the Midtown branch. Grant to them special blessings. And remember, Lord, that right now, some of our leaders are under attack.
Yes.
You know them by name, Father. I don't have to tell you about Charlie Rangel. I don't have to tell you about all of them. But Lord, wherever they may be right now, let them know we're praying for them. We're praying. Wrap your arms around them. Let them know we shall stand with them all the way. And now, Father, as I take my seat, I want you to sprinkle your blessing from the front to the least, to the most. Grant to each and every one your special blessing. Lift them up. If there be any doubt, any hurt or pain, remove it from them. Give them the blessings of riches. In the name of the Holy Spirit, this is your servant's prayer. Somebody say amen.
Amen. I just want to say before I adjourn that Reverend Royal has agreed to reactivate the Religious Affairs Committee of the Mid-Manhattan branch, and he will now be our new chair. So welcome Reverend Royal to the branch. I'm going to ask for a motion to dismiss the meeting. Second by Anna. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The meeting is now adjourned.
Lift every voice.
land, a brand new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Tonight's a very, very historical program. We've gathered criminal justice agencies from throughout the federal and state government. And I really have to thank Beverly Wheeler. She was in a little bit of a fender bender earlier. She is really responsible for inviting all of these people and for doing a lot of the hard work that goes into putting a program like this together. And of course, I also want to thank Jeff Eaton, our president, who put the program together and helped us really with the idea of having it here at the Harlem State Office Building, which was a fantastic idea. We can tell by the crowd here that this was a really great place to do this. As you heard earlier tonight, we sponsor a high school, Watley High School, and we thought it was really important to get our young people involved in programs such as these. So they're going to be an integral part of our program this evening. I'm going to be introducing the students, and then they're going to be introducing the individual panel members. Our first student is Dariel Cruz. He's a junior at Watley High School, and he's achieved academic excellence. He's a professional. He's a professional actor, and he's a member of the Watley Players Poetry Group. He's also a member of the mock drama team, and he's a member of the student council. And I'm not going to tell you who he's introducing. I'm going to let him do that all on his very own. Without further ado, here is Dariel Cruz, our first presenter.
I am glad and proud to introduce Deputy Inspector Michael Harrington, who's sitting over there. But first, let me give you a little background on this wonderful man. Deputy Inspector Michael Harrington started his career as a New York City police officer since 1986. Officer Harrington was assigned to uniform patrol in the Housing Bureau of Coney Island. Subsequently, he worked in plainclothes narcotics enforcement with the Tactical Narcotics Team, that's TNT, in Lower Manhattan. As a sergeant, Inspector Harrington was assigned to the Housing Bureau of Lower Manhattan, Coney Island. As a lieutenant, he was assigned to patrol Brownsville, East New York, and Coney Island neighborhoods of Brooklyn. In 1996, Inspector Harrington was assigned to Emergency Services Unit as a citywide sponsor. He was promoted to captain in 1997 and assigned as an investigative captain in charge of detective and narcotics investigations in Patrol Border, Brooklyn North. Inspector Harrington was assigned as the commanding officer in the Housing Bureau's Police Service Area 2 in Brooklyn, where he was promoted to deputy inspector, and then the 79th District in Bedford-Stuyvesant, where he was promoted to inspector. Without further ado, I'd like to have Mr. Michael Harrington come up.
As Daryl said, I'm a 24 and a half year veteran in the police department, and my gym instructor is right there, Lindsay Easton, way back when he failed. I started out my career in housing. I did some plainclothes work, and I've moved up, so I won't repeat my whole resume there. But I've been up here in Manhattan North now for the last 4 years. What they asked to speak about is the programs that we have running. Today we had a meeting with the PAL. It's a private organization, but it's the department's community relations to interact with the kids. Right now there are 56,000 kids participating in PAL programs throughout the city. We've had 1,400 summer jobs coming this year, 300 year-round jobs. We get over 1,000 police officers volunteering their time to either coach, play ball, or mentor young kids in the community. Some of the other programs we have within the police department is a youth police academy that runs 8 weeks in the summer for applicants 10 and up. Sergeant Robinson has an application for anybody who's looking for that. We have an Explorers post. Every program, every precinct in the borough, there's 12 precincts covered here in Manhattan North, has an Explorer program. And for the future, the police department, if you're following any of the newspapers and stuff, crime is starting to creep up. You see the little things in the papers. The problem with our crime is the youth. We need to get the parents more involved with the youth. We need to get the police and the kids working together. I think we're going to have the continued success we've had for the last 17 years in reducing crime, and to avoid going back to the old ways. It's going to be a lot of partnership, relationship between the community and the kids. I look forward to answering any questions here, and I'll refer to Lindsay.
And now I will introduce Mr. Wilbert L. Plummer. Mr. Wilbert L. Plummer completed his undergraduate studies at the University of Maryland, College Park campus in 1987, and entered on duty with the Drug Enforcement Administration in August of 1987 at the Washington Division Office. Shortly thereafter, Mr. Plummer transferred to the Baltimore District Office. In December 1987, where he initiated the first Cellular 3 intercept in Maryland. In October 2002, Mr. Plummer was reassigned as the Assistant Special Agent in charge at the Laredo District Office, where he directed the district and resident offices of resources towards identifying and dismantling major Mexican drug trafficking organizations operating along the southwest border. He was instrumental in getting the Title III operations up and running in the offices under his command, and establishing an Attorney General exempt money laundering operation. In November 2003, Mr. Plummer was promoted to Senior Executive Service, where he currently serves as Special Agent in charge of the New York Enforcement Division. Mr. Plummer currently has oversight of 31 enforcement groups and 418 positions in Manhattan, Long Island, Albany, Syracuse, Rochester, Plattsburgh, and Buffalo offices. Mr. Plummer is native of Warrington, North Carolina, and is married with one daughter.
I'm glad to be here. I'm with the Drug Enforcement Administration. Our New York office is probably one of our largest offices in the United States. We have 21 field divisions here. We enforce drug crimes. Another major part of our operations, which a lot of people may not realize, is we also enforce the pharmaceutical drug laws also, which has, in the past couple of years, you might have heard on the news. I just did a thing on CNN a couple of weeks ago, just to emphasize the amount and the problem that we're having with primarily pain medicine, and how most of our young people are getting addicted to this, and also the crime that comes out of that. Some people just don't realize what's in their medicine cabinet, and a lot of these kids are starting to find out the new high is pharmaceutical drugs. Happy to be here. Look forward to the rest of these people, especially Mr. Chuck Davis is sitting on here. So honored, I feel protected because the Secret Service is in the building.
Our next presenter is Gabriella Augustine. She's a senior at Watley High School, and also has achieved academic excellence. She's a member of the Watley Players Poetry Group. She's a library assistant, a trained dancer, a trained pianist, and her mother, Miss Augustine, is the president of the Watley PTA. Without further ado, I present to you Gabrielle Augustine.
It is my pleasure to share a biography of Miss Dina Thompson. Ms. Dina Thompson is a native of Baltimore, Maryland. She's a graduate of Frostburg State University, Frostburg, Maryland, where she received a Bachelor of Science degree in sociology. Later, she earned a Master of Science degree in Criminal Justice from Compton State College, Baltimore, Maryland. She also joined the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI. In October 1997, Ms. Thompson began her investigative career as a special agent, SA. with the FBI assigned to the New York Division. Ms. Thompson's primary assignments were administration, surveillance operations, drugs, organized crime, counterterrorism, counterintelligence, and most recently, the Intelligence Division. Special Agent Thompson is an FBI certified instructor. She has taught at the International Law Enforcement Academy, ILEA, Gaborone, Botswana, and served as a class coordinator for a 50-day temporary duty assignment. Special Agent Thompson has also taught in Abuja, Nigeria. Special Agent Thompson is active in community outreach and maintains a dialogue with minority leaders, officials, corporate businesses, groups, and various educational institutions within the community in which the FBI serves. Special Agent Thompson served as an advisor to the FBI Explorer program for children between the ages of 14 to 20. Special Agent Thompson was a recipient of the prestigious Attorney General's AG Distinguished Service Award on July 28, 2004 for exemplary work in dismantling a hostile intelligence agency.
Good evening, everyone. It is indeed my pleasure to be here. I am most honored. Thank you so much for all the love I've been feeling so far this evening. I've been told I have to give the Cliff Notes version because I had a much longer presentation planned, so I'm going to try and make it short and sweet. Basically, the FBI, we just celebrated our 100th centennial anniversary in 2008. So as you can imagine, a lot of things have changed in the past 100 years. Our mission is pretty simple. It's to protect the U.S. and defend the U.S. against terrorist and foreign intelligence threats, also to uphold and enforce the criminal laws of the U.S., and lastly, to provide leadership and criminal justice services to federal, state, municipal, and international agencies and partners. Just some quick facts. We have 10 priorities. They range from cyber-based attacks, combating public corruption, civil rights, transnational criminal organizations and enterprises, combating white-collar, violent crimes, supporting federal, state, local, and international partners, and upgrading technology to successfully perform our mission. We have about 39,925 employees, 13,492 are special agents, and 20,433 are professional support. Our budget is approximately $7.9 billion, and we just received a $618 million in program increases to enhance our counterterrorism, computer intrusion, surveillance, weapons of mass destruction, white-collar crime, and training programs. So it's very serious. We are conveniently located around the globe. We have offices in 60 countries internationally, and we have 56 field offices here in the United States, and we have about 400 resident agencies. Our motto is fidelity, bravery, and integrity. So real quickly, some of the things that the FBI can do for you in your community, we have a ton of things, many, many things, and I encourage each of you to take advantage of them. We have a Citizens Academy. They last about 12 weeks in length. We've had over 10,000 community leaders participate. And just to give you an example of what one clergyman commented before he went to our Citizens Academy, he quoted, "The FBI can't be trusted." Okay, after the Citizens Academy, his comment was a little different. And it went like this: FBI employees are decent, down to earth, regular people concerned about the well-being of America and the world. Some of the other programs we have are Adopt a School, where we actually mentor our students. We just did a big gang initiative in Hempstead, and we're also in Newburgh. Those are the two schools that we adopted. We have a junior scientist program, which is specific to the Northern Virginia area. And the reason for that is that's where our lab is. And basically that program encourages students to consider science and lab work as a career. We also have a junior special agent program. Basically, we teach kids how to be law-abiding citizens, and at the end of the program, kids who pass the course graduate and they are awarded the junior special agent status. We also honor our community leaders because it's very important to do so. We have a Big Brother, Big Sister program. We meet with them weekly and mentor them. We also have a National Academy, which is in Quantico, Virginia. We invite all of our top executives from law enforcement agencies around the world, as well as in the U.S. to attend. We also have an FBI Explorers program, and we compete against NYCPD and some of the other agencies. And we have InfraGuard, which basically we establish a relationship with businesses both large and small. And basically that is to protect the national infrastructure of the U.S. and we provide training. So that's what we do in a nutshell. And in terms of what we do in terms of interaction, we have a joint terrorism task force. We have about 50 agencies that belong to that task force. And we work very closely. We have a lot of resources and we're here to help one another. And it's impossible for us to be successful in our investigations without the help of our partners. Thank you for your interest. I'll be around in the back if you have questions.
I'm going to share about the biography of Ms. Sherry Robinson. Ms. Sherry Robinson, a deputy with the U.S. Marshals Service, started her career in June 2005. As a member of the law enforcement entity, Deputy Robinson is a criminal investigator assigned to the Protective Intelligence Unit as a threat investigator. Her duties include, but are not limited to, protecting federal judicial officials, judges, attorneys, and jurors. This is a core mission for the U.S. Marshals. Deputy Robinson is responsible for managing and disposing of seized and forfeited properties acquired by criminals through illegal activities. She ensures the safety of witnesses who risk their lives testifying for the government in cases involving organized crime and other significant criminal activities. Deputy Robinson has conducted, developed, and directed complex criminal, fraud, counterintelligence, CI, physical security and anti-terrorism investigations, and operations that have had a significant impact on protecting the national security and saving lives. The most recent case she was in charge of was U.S. versus Siddiqui. Siddiqui was found guilty of attempted murder of FBI agents and U.S. military personnel. Deputy Robinson holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice Administration and Planning from John Jay Criminal College, New York. She is currently pursuing a master's degree at John Jay in Protective Management. And without further introduction, Ms. Sherry Robinson.
Thank you for introducing me. I'm a U.S. Marshal. That's not a city marshal, which Ms. Wheeler told me I needed to explain the difference between. I don't really know what they do. I believe they tow cars, but that's not what we do. We work with a lot of the agencies that are up here. We have the New York, New Jersey Regional Fugitive Task Force, and that's primarily our goal is to go out and apprehend fugitives that are destroying the neighborhoods. We presently are, I'm getting nervous right now. As far as the community outreach, I've been taking a lot of initiative with that. 2 years ago, we had a presentation at the Harlem Armory. We handed out book bags, calculators, pencils. We were trying to, just let the kids know that we're good guys, we're not bad guys. We want to help you. You can trust us. You can come to us with any problems that you have. A lot of people have a negative image of law enforcement, and I'm trying to chip away at that every piece that I can. Tomorrow I'm going to be at the Boys and Girls High School in Brooklyn. They're having a career day. So these are just the little things that we try to do to give back to the community. We will take requests to go to other schools if you would like for us to go and provide information. We don't go and try to hire for the Marshals Service. We just go to provide a positive image. Like myself, I grew up in the Lower East Side, in the projects, and a lot of people think that, how can you make it? And we can make it. Look at the president. He made it. We can all make it. So I just try to give kids and the community that goal. Like, you don't have to be a product of your environment. You can change that. And if you have any more questions, I'll be happy to answer them right here.
Please stay with us as we continue this unprecedented forum featuring 6 major federal and local law enforcement agencies. Presented by the Criminal Justice Legal Redress Committee of the Roy Wilkins Mid-Manhattan branch of the NAACP.